Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 34 of my series in which I will try to collect a billion iron ingots. In today's episode, I am going to set up what I would call a scrap factory. And before I do that, I'm going to show you guys that I built another level of this building. And I built my reactor a little bit higher to a third floor, and I built two new turbines which are right here. They are completely identical to the turbines that I built on the second floor, and they are spec'd out the same way. They are intaking the same amount of steam, so they are producing the same amount of power. And I need that extra power for what I'm going to build this episode, which is what I would call a scrap factory. Now I have set up the rest of the nuclear reactors that I said I was going to near the end of last episode, but we still have not got through a full cycle of our initial fuel rods yet, so we still do not have this automation completely set up, although I just need one more thing, and what I need is one of these fuel rods to be depleted. But for right now, we are going to be working in the basement, which you saw a couple times last episode and might have been wondering what this space is for. This space is going to be for my scrap factory. Now the first part of, well, I guess I should dive into why I need to build a scrap factory is this Mass Fabricator right here produces UU matter, but it can produce a lot more efficiently if I provide it with scrap or scrap boxes. Now scrap is made by recyclers, and you can put literally any item in the recycler and it has a potential to make scrap. I think the percentage is like 1/8 of the time it makes scrap. The other time it just completely gets rid of the items. Now we can take the scrap and turn it into scrap boxes and throw it in the Mass Fabricator. We don't actually have to turn the scrap into scrap boxes. It just works better from an automative perspective, or from an automative standpoint, because when you get a ton of power into the Mass Fabricator, sometimes when you provide it with scrap, there's like lapses in between because it uses the scrap quicker than it can get it into its inventory. So you're not running at full efficiency all the time. Whereas if you use scrap boxes, you tend to not have that problem. So what we're going to do down here is we're going to make a scrap factory. I don't think I need to fully set it up this episode because I won't be able to run it at full power yet because we're not producing a great deal of power up here. Once we switch these to the second type of fuel rods, these reactors will produce between 3 and 4 times the amount of power that they are right now. So I will be producing a lot more power in the future. Okay, now let's dive into the build. The first thing I need to make a lot of some sort of item that is cheap, easy to make, and I can turn into scrap. So what I've chosen to use is these material stonework factories, and I will use them to create cobblestone. And I actually just realized that I have something else I want to automate and build real fast. I need pulling upgrades for my recyclers. I don't think I have those made. I don't even think I have, yeah, definitely don't. Okay, so yeah, let's use this recipe. That shouldn't be a problem. Should be able to make a bunch of these. Let's say make 200. I don't have wood, but I do have wood because make 1,000. Okay, here in a little bit, I need to tell my system to make a bunch of pulling upgrades once some of that wood's chopped up in my sawmill. But for right now, we need to set these guys up. These things will require some RF power, and so that's why I set up the turbines. So let's get some flux duct, because we are going to need to run that conduit underneath the stonework factories. How I'm going to have this is the stonework factories will actually be in the floor, and the recyclers will be up at this level. They'll be like right there. They'll be in lines actually. I think the first step here is, whoa, okay. Apparently there's a monster nearby. I'm gonna lay my glass fiber cables. Yeah, not cool. How should I do this? Yeah, I think I'm gonna lay them, because I need item ducts as well, and I should probably grab those. And I'm gonna need a bunch of servos. Yeah, make 50 of those. That's cool. And then make a couple hundred of those. And we can grab this and put this right here. So how this is going to work, I think every other line will be recyclers. I actually could do this. I'm trying to think the best way to do this. I think actually what I'm going to do is not do that. I think I'm going to run the conduit on top. Darn. I was hoping I could get all of them in one go around. Yeah, I think I'll run the conduit on top. And we can just run the electrical every third row, like this. And then we'll have a bunch of recyclers. I think for right now, that'll probably be enough. So how, I think we can run this up like so and connect it here. And then to connect it to the reactors on the top side, we can just cut a hole somewhere in the floor. And that'll work pretty well. Okay, now for the item ducts, they'll be on top of the recyclers. I'm not going to place them yet, actually. Let's go ahead and dig the holes for the stoneworks factories. And let's just go ahead and do it this way. Yeah. Because we need to run the conduit under them. So we'll just chop out this giant hole. Sorry, torches. This won't take but a second more. Yeah, this will be the final, for right now anyways. We'll probably improve upon the design later on. Okay, now we need to run our flux duct. The first thing I want to do is run... Actually, this is kind of tricky. I think I'm going to run this... Not there. I think I'm going to run it over here. And then I'll have the slightly cheaper, the resonant flux duct coming off and going across the room. So I'll have this down here. And then somewhere it'll, I think, let's, there's no great way to make this look great. We'll run it, say, right here. And then we can run it we don't want to do it right there because there will be some conflict there. I think here will be the best spot for right now. We might clean this up later. It definitely doesn't look great, but it'll work. Now we just take our resonant flux duct and we are going to be running that across the room like this. And I know it's super clean. You know what I can do to clean this up? We won't even see this but still, I can still clean this up. Bam. I don't know if that'll help the server out any or not, but it might. It very well might not, though. Nope. This is not cobble zone. This is flux duct zone. And I'm not entirely sure how many stonework factories I need and recyclers I need. I made a bunch. Hopefully I made enough. Okay. And then this last line over here. Before I forget, let's make those pulling upgrades that I need. Let's say 200. Good. Got everything now. Or got the wood I need. That'll be good. We don't need that. We definitely need more impulse item duct, though, which we have. Cool, that works pretty well. Now let's set up the stonework factories, which should be pretty easy to do. And hopefully, yeah, they're not connected yet, so they have no power. Nope. Shoot. And it doesn't matter how they are oriented because they will have recyclers on top of them, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and use these. Glad I made a ton of these things beforehand. Last little row here. Whoops. And I think their default is actually exactly what I want. Their default config here, which is stopped. It'll just make cobblestone and then it'll stop. Now we need to go over here and connect this up to my flux duct. So we'll run over here. Oh, I made this little system to make some plastic between episodes. It's very similar to the system I've used before, so I didn't bother making it on camera. So yeah, that's made me some plastic because I needed a bunch of plastic for my stoneworks factories. But anyways, these things should be going. Now we can go ahead and speed these up with some speed upgrades, which I have built. I don't know if I have enough of them. In fact, I know I don't quite have enough of these guys. So let's try to sort some of this crap. Grab all these. I think I don't need that many more, but okay, so let's get started with these. Right here. So right here and right here would be the best spot. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do this all off camera. I'm just loading upgrades into every single one of these guys, so I will be right back. And I'm back. I have all the stonework factories with upgrades, and I filled in the floors to make it look a little bit better. Now the next thing I need to do is set down a bunch of recyclers. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to show the first two rows here, and then I'm going to do the rest of it off camera because, I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. And I'm gonna lay the recyclers like so. That way you can see the front of each machine here, and not the back. It just looks a little bit better if I do it this way. And for each machine, I am also going to throw in some transformer upgrades, which I have made up. I hope I have enough. I'm going to throw in, for right now, 3 transformer upgrades. I'll probably come back and throw some overclockers in too. But for right now, just 3 transformer upgrades. I'm going to lay down all the recyclers, and after I get all that done, I will be back. And I am finally back. I have installed transformer upgrades. I also put in a pulling upgrade in every single one of these, and I set that to pull from the bottom side because the cobblestone is being made underneath. So all these have some cobblestone in them, and they are ready to go, but they have no power. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up the power at this point. They won't be able to do very much with said power, but let's say here's a good spot, and we'll just run the power just right down from there. And that connects up. Boom. These guys should light up, and they are. Look at that. That's beautiful. As of right now, these recyclers, I believe, all use 1 EU per tick, and I'm not sure how many I have, to be honest. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 18 times 7, which is, what, 56. 126, I think? I'm doing math in my head, and I'm not super confident in that. But right now I'm getting 126. The next step is these things are making scrap, and we need to turn those into scrap boxes. I'm going to put 4 crafters over here, which is actually likely pretty much overkill, but that's okay. And we'll run some conduit underneath them. So I probably shouldn't have put them down yet. And then this will be the 4th one, and then we can just run this over here. We'll run it underneath the elevator. And over to here. So let's just run this real quick. And then that should have power. Put down the remaining crafters. There, there, and there. And then let's fill in this hole with some stone. And then the next step is we need to get the scrap from over here to over here. And for that, we are going to use some impulse item ducts. And we are going to use resonant servos on all of these guys. So I am going to lay these out. And how do I want to do this? Since over there I have it on the other side, let's do it like this. And then we can run this. Yeah, this isn't the greatest. Yeah, this definitely isn't organized the greatest, but that's okay. Nope, we don't want that, and we don't want that. We'll just run it like so, and we'll have all of the servos on these guys. And I think I'm gonna do that off camera because it's, once again, just doing the same thing over and over again. Just gonna slap all these servos on, and then we gotta make sure they're all active. So I will be right back after I have all of this done. And I am back. I have all of the servos set up, everything is extracting, and the scrap is coming over here into these guys, which is beautiful. Now what we need to do is we need to set the recipes, which is just this. Pretty easy stuff. So we need to do this on all 4 of these guys, and they will start making scrap boxes. And for the last one. Okay, now that these guys have scrap boxes, we need somewhere for them to go. And so we need to set up a system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a deep storage unit. Nope, it's called a black hole unit now. My bad. Old habits die hard. And then I need 4 servos and a storage bus and an export bus. We're actually almost done with this build, which is pretty cool. And how we are going to do this is we're actually going to use some covers and lay down some impulse item ducts, like so. And let's go ahead and carve this out as well. We are going to have our black hole unit here, and we are going to put servos on these guys, and we will have these as always active if I can get them anyways. And then we should have scrap boxes coming in over here, and we can lock that and say you are only scrap boxes. Now for this, we can just set up the storage bus right here. You will only be scrap boxes, and you have a high priority. Now we can, well, first we need covers. I think we need 5 of them. And to make this look nice and tidy, just do something like this. Now we need, what, 4 covered cables. Actually, we need more than that, because we have a little bit more to do here. And so that should be hooked up sometime soon, hopefully. Come on. Unless I'm running short on channels, and I really hope I'm not. Okay, cool. We are online, so we have scrap boxes. Now for the final part of the setup, we are going to export scrap boxes to right here. And I didn't grab any scrap boxes. Oh well. So let's see here. I need one more cover, it looks like. But other than that, okay, let's look how fast this thing is going. It's not too slow, but you know, whatevs. It's not super fast or anything. So let's set this guy up. Let's put our cover on. Clean that up just a little bit, and then we can run this across, and I think we have enough channels. So let's look at that. That's a lot faster. A lot faster. And now the last thing I need to do is, I think I need to do some calculations for right now. Actually. Yes! Sweet. So I've ran these things long enough to where I have depleted the fuel rods here. So what we need to do here is take one out and say, you will pull these out. So it should start pulling them out, and we should get new fuel rods. Success! So this system is fully automated, and we should start getting some depleted fuel rods in our system. 64, which is perfect. That's exactly what we should be seeing. And I think in the next episode, we are going to start processing those fuel rods, because you can use them to get stuff. And mainly this guy right here, plutonium. That's what we are looking for. But for right now, let's bask in the glory of this. Before we do that, though, we need to see. Okay, so what we are seeing right here is this is going down, which means we are not making enough scrap. Let's see here. We have 64 reactors up here at 120. I need to do some math with my phone here. 120 EU times 64 equals 7,680 EU per tick is what we are producing currently in the basement. And I should probably write that down. 7,680. Okay, in the basement here we have 18 times 7, which is 126. So right now these guys are using 126 EU per tick. Let's see here. I'm gonna put some options down here because Industrial Craft does something very nice, and it gives you how much power these things will be using. And I believe they round down on the power figures, but I'm not entirely sure. So let's see. If we were to upgrade, say 18 of these guys to 8 overclockers, that would give us 756. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to upgrade this first row here with 8 overclockers each. That is too many. We will still be well within... Yeah, I'm not doing that right. Okay. Look at how much they speed up over this guy. Look at that. Much power. Okay, to make this a little bit easier, we are just going to split this a bunch. There. Faster. So these guys will use a little bit more power, but let's see if we're getting... Oh, we're really close to break even. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more row, I think. And then we should be in the positive territory. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Because I want to run Scrapbox positive. We definitely have enough power to do so. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just split this again. And after all this is said and done, we should be running decently positive on our scrap boxes. Now, overclockers, if you notice, they decrease... actually, you'd have to do some math, but they decrease the efficiency of the machines by just a little bit. And that's not too much of a problem. These things don't use very much power in the first place. So now we have a net surplus here, which is what we want to see. It's not a big... Oh, cool. Our other lines also ran out of depleted fuel, or their first cycle of fuel. So that's cool. Everything looks to be up and running exactly how it needs to be. I'm pretty excited about that. This thing's moving quite a bit faster now. So we should be seeing a decent increase in the amount of iron production. Okay, I think we are just about done here. I'm pretty happy. I will be able to upgrade this by throwing in more overclockers, because obviously I've only done 2 of the 7 lines here with overclockers. So when we start producing more power, I can just throw in more overclockers down there, and I will get more scrap, and therefore increase the efficiency. In today's episode, I made a scrap factory in the basement of my nuclear reactor building, which should increase my iron production by quite a bit. As of right now, we have 264,000 iron ingots, which is actually a significant decrease from last time. And that's because making heat vents for the nuclear reactors, it uses a lot of iron. And I also made a lot of extra heat vents, as you can see here. 1,000 of each. Actually, it's 1,800, I think, of these guys. But that's all cool. We probably will be using those in the future, so, I mean, it's a good use of iron. This is Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.